you're not doing what it takes to get the laptop lifestyle. It's really not that great of a feeling to be broke and free. You signed up for pain. Are you aware that you did that? So I bought instantly and I went on Apollo and I got 1,000 emails. It's real spam, fake personalization. Do you think you're the first person to have a business in this world? I need to eat shit for 3 months. What are your alternatives? This freelancer has all the skills, knows how to build websites, knows how to run ads, and knows how to create content. But his monthly income? Zero. And when I asked him what he does between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. every day, instead of the one thing that would actually make him money, what he said he was doing is probably what you're doing too. This video is a live coaching hot seat. There's no scripts and no edits to make him look better. Just the real conversation about why talented people stay broke and what to do about it. I've got Tal, Mr. Tal Cord from Canada here. Tal, I'm gonna pin you up here. How you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
So why don't you just give me a quick 60 seconds about where you're at in your journey and what you brought for me to look at today?
So I'm at that part where I have the skills, definitely. I'm not too confused about, terminology and how to actually implement a digital marketing strategy, but it's at that point where I'm looking for clients and I just need to do as much outreach as possible. I've had paid clients, but it was temporary. It was like one-time project for a website, but I didn't have the full OPMA client just yet.
Just out of curiosity, like approximately how much money are you bringing in every month from your digital marketing freelance or OPMA model?
Right now, zero, because I don't have any paid clients.
Understood. So we really need to kind of knock down that first domino. In your opinion, what do you really think is the problem holding you back from securing some deals?
I don't think it's a problem necessarily with my offer. It's just I'm not getting out there enough. I'm not talking to enough people, going to enough events, sending enough emails. Like I've only sent about 50 emails, like my whole track record. That's not enough.
Yeah.
Granted,
And,
I
and
did get two responses from them.
did you stimulate any at least project work from that? How did
Yeah,
those
yeah.
responses look like?
So the out of those two responses, one of them was a pro bono client that I worked with, and it was like a local therapist. I helped her with social media, running some ads. Like eventually we stopped working
Mhm.
together, but the other email was a paid project.
Mhm.
It was for like a one-time website, and that was that. I wasn't able to transition into the OPMA with that person simply because they didn't have the finances to pay a monthly fee for my service.
And how did you choose those 50 people?
So it's a mix of looking through the business directory in my city, and when I'm out and about, like if I'm at a cafe and I see business cards that people like to leave, like I'll take them, take a note, and then put it in my lead list. So it's a mix of that.
And you mentioned events. How many events did you go to?
So far, only two.
Only two. And did you get any contacts there? What was the result of that?
Yeah, so I did notice though, those events, very high quality leads. People very interested in working with me, and it's definitely the fastest way I've gotten leads.
And so when we started, you were saying you don't see a lot of problems. You think that maybe it's a volume of outreach or a volume of connection that's the primary problem. You're
I
just
think
not getting
so.
enough
Yeah.
volume.
It's that, and it's also the discipline on my end.
Mhm.
I really need to hone in and fix the discipline issue
Well, let's
to
talk
act.
about that.
Yeah.
Tell me specifically what you mean by that. Is there something you need to do and you're not doing it? Are you referring to the outreach? Is there something else?
That's what I'm referring to the outreach.
Mhm.
If I know that if I stayed and did it every day,
Mhm.
by the end of like a month, I have something. but it's not. It's like an on and off thing.
So what is holding you back from doing it? Is there a specific fear? Is it laziness? Is it not enjoying the process? Is you dislike something about it? Like, did you do anything today?
No.
Did you think about it this morning when you got up? Like maybe I should
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that?
I was, yeah, yeah. The last week I've been working on more of the AI Webflow stuff,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna integrate that into my offer.
Okay, that's a good
But
idea.
definitely, to answer your question, it's more so, A, I'm not doing enough, and B, like I'm just not enjoying the process of outreach.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's discouraging if I'll be honest, it is discouraging if you send, a dozen emails and you don't get any responses. It's normal to feel like something's not right.
Why did you become an entrepreneur? Why don't you just get a job? Why don't you work for an agency full time? Like why do you want to do this?
I want control over my time, and I like the fact that all I need is a Wi-Fi connection in my laptop. One thing I really want to do, like while I'm in my early years, is travel, see the world, meet people. Like that's a priority of mine.
Mhm.
And also the flexibility of choosing where I want to, settle down one day.
Mhm.
I like Canada, but maybe in the future, I'm gonna look into the States if I can get there, or somewhere in South America like you. So it's a flexible path being an entrepreneur. Also the most rewarding too, financially, if you stick through with it.
It can be. It can
But the
be.
most difficult, it's difficult though. It's not easy.
So when people think about freedom, they think, oh, I can get up whenever I want. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to answer my phone for my boss. I don't have to show up for work. That's freedom. That's kind of freedom, but freedom sucks if you're broke. It's really not that great of a feeling to be broke and free. It feels like you're in an emptiness. It feels like you're lost. At least if you go to a job, you have meaning for that 8 hours. You do something for someone who appreciates you ideally, and you get paid for it. And you can
Hmm.
get paid really well. It's possible to get paid really well as a marketer. It's not impossible. And so, what I'm just saying is that if you like the idea of the laptop lifestyle, if you want to travel, you have to understand that that is really for the top one, maybe 3% of people in this world. You have to take that to heart. You have to say to yourself, I'm asking for a top 3% lifestyle. Now, it might not be the wealthiest person, but in my books, wealth isn't money. It's a part of it. Wealth is being in control of every part of your life. And that is sort of being an entrepreneur, being able to navigate what you do with your time, being able to decide who you work with and perhaps when you work. And so to have a top 3% wealthy lifestyle, it takes a lot of effort. Now, the good thing is that you can actually achieve it working 4 hours a day. You don't need to work 8 hours a day. However, those 4 hours must be pristine. They have to be perfectly designed. What you do in those 4 hours are the most important thing to do. Sometimes we don't know what that is. And it's okay to try and discover what that is. It's okay to feel it out for a while. And you certainly aren't going to do the same thing every day for the rest of your life. At some point, at some time in the year, the most important thing changes. But I think we've already heard today from you that you have a sense what the most important thing is, but you're not interested in tackling it. And so the input is not happening, and therefore the output is not happening. You cannot get the output without the input. It's not possible. The worse the input, the worse the output. The better the input, the better the output. 100%.
Of course.
So I don't mind looking at your assets and giving you some feedback, but we must solve client acquisition. I know there's so many people out here in this exact same boat as you, wearing the exact same shoes,
Yeah.
but you guys signed up to be an entrepreneur. You literally signed up to have a shitty lifestyle for a while. You signed up for sacrifice. You signed up for pain. Did you know that? Are you aware that you did that?
You're asking me? At the back
Yeah.
of my head, yes,
Are you
I am
aware
aware.
you signed up for pain?
But I don't remind myself enough, you know. It's not when I struggle, that's something that I need to realize.
You know what's amazing about pain? You can feel something. You feel something day to day. It might not be great, but you know what's to me is worse is numbness, no feeling. Pain has a flip side, pleasure. I promise you, if you eat the pain for 12 months, you'll feel pleasure. And I'll be honest, it could be taking pain for 3 years, but that would probably mean pleasure for 10. There's going to be some sort of risk reward factor here, and there's going to be some sort of delayed gratification element. Let me ask you a question. It's a bit personal. When you think about doing client acquisition and you don't, what do you do instead? Could you answer that for us?
Yeah. So between 8 a.m. until 2 p.m., if I shift from what's actually important, and that is the client acquisition, usually my focus would change towards something work related that's not as important, like the smaller details of the assets, for example. And then like after 2 p.m., that's when like I have less and less energy to work towards my goals. So it's very easy for me to instead spend my time like playing video games or watching a show or even like doom scrolling on Instagram. That's a big thing. I think it's taking a big chunk of my time and I'm not realizing it.
So, what I would say is that after 12 or 1, I would stop working mostly. I would go to the gym. I would go for a walk or a run. I would make some beautiful photos. I would write for pleasure. I would enjoy my life. I don't think that's a problem. And I think that's your reward. And I think sometimes what happens is if we're not working hard enough from 8 till 12, we feel like, oh, well, I'll do 2 to 4 more hours, but it's really just 2 to 4 more hours of junk. It's not moving the needle. It's just, you're actually wasting the time. And yet you don't even reward yourself because you don't deserve a reward technically. So it's so much better that you do what you need to do from 8 till 10 and then just stop. It's so much better that you do that. It's so much better that you send 10 emails every day from 8 to 10 than doing anything else from 10 to 2. You could literally not be working. You could get a different job. You could get a job you love. You could work at a place that you really enjoy part-time. You could start a business with someone else. Like you could just do this for the first 2 hours and you'd be in better shape than you are today. So I think that's really an important takeaway here is that you are doing 6 hours of mediocre actions instead of 2 hours of incredibly effective actions. So we'll stop at that and we'll say, take that, think about it, do it, fix that. The next question is, what actually should you be doing for those 2 hours? That's a different question. The first question is, do I even do what's important to deserve what I want? And right now the answer is no. You're not doing what it takes to get the laptop lifestyle. You're on your laptop and you have a lifestyle, but it's not sustainable. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, I would agree.
You might be very close, don't get me wrong, and you might be on the way there. You might deserve it in the future. But based on what you said today, the actions do not lead you to the path of happiness and greatness and satisfaction. And that's because you said you find outreach to be frustrating or disheartening. You aren't doing it. You're choosing other things that aren't moving the needle. We all need to find the action that leads to the payoff. The key to success is figuring out, when I put my foot on this pedal, the car goes where I want it. Everything else is just sitting in the car, not going anywhere, pressing the lights, turning on the wipers, cleaning the dashboard. The car didn't go anywhere. You have to find out what is the action of the pedal. Now, sometimes you don't even have a car to drive. And so putting the pedal down would be the wrong thing to do. It's not good to market a bad business. You only expose yourself being bad to more people. You do want to have the right car. But when you're starting out and your income is zero, you want to create a very simple car. Very simple. No fancy stuff. So we addressed that that's the first issue, is prioritizing for a smaller period of time, and that what you want will come because you do that right thing every day. The next question is, what is that right thing? Because someone might be like, oh, Rich told me to do outreach. It's the most important thing. So I bought instantly and I went on Apollo and I got 1,000 emails and I did that every day. I said it's important you do the number one most important thing. I didn't define what that is yet. You said it's outreach. I didn't say that yet. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, I would say, to be more specific, is having more conversations.
Okay, that's
Talk,
great. Of
talking to more
course.
people,
Here's
getting
the
more people to hear
challenge.
about you.
Here's the challenge at that, though. That's not an input. Having a conversation is actually the output of another input. It's a mini step towards making money. You cannot have unlimited conversations every day. Would you agree?
Yeah, of course.
But could we argue you could send emails nonstop every day? Like, it's not a true obstacle that you could be sending emails for 16 hours a day. You could. You could just keep going down the Google list. You could just keep searching broader. You could ask AI every day for 20 new potential industries, and you could just keep going. Would you agree with that?
Yep.
So it's important to understand that there's inputs and outputs. And right now you said, oh, I need to have more conversations. I agree you need to have more conversations. But that is not the thing you do in the morning for 2 hours. That is the thing you book for the next 4 hours of the day. So it would look like this. The first 2 hours a day stimulate conversations. That's your input. The next 4 hours are you delivering client work and handling those conversations that you booked in the first 2 hours. If you had a sales page and you ran an ad to that sales page, and they can sign up and start asking you for work like a marketing subscription does, you don't need conversations. You would just be delivering on their requests. Does that make sense?
For sure. Yeah, it does make sense. And I know
So I
a
just
few
want to make it
people.
clear, like, what the business would look like if you start getting success. Yes, you might be having some conversations. Absolutely. And yes, you will obviously be delivering on the deals you close. When you get 5 clients, your days will be spent doing that work. And so there's two sides of getting paid. There's acquisition, attracting and converting, and there's fulfillment, delivery. There's those two things that a business does to get paid. The good news about the second one is you have the skills, you're just waiting for those requests. You're just waiting for those projects. That's not going to be a problem. And if you had 5 clients right now, you'd be very happy and you can go where you want and you can deliver to them remotely on your laptop, right?
Exactly.
Right. So we need to solve client acquisition. So you mentioned the AI websites thing. Have you tried the gift first outreach strategy yet, where you present some work that you've done ahead of time?
Yes.
You
So
did
I
that. How
have
many
done that
times?
a handful of times, but not with AI Webflow. I was using Framer, and I was literally just like getting a template that I saw and taking the information from the existing website they have or their social media, putting it on the template. But I found even that is takes a little too much time,
Have you
unfortunately.
figured out the difference between that method and the AI Webflow method?
Yeah, the fact
What's the
is the
difference?
AI Webflow method is faster.
Give me some numbers, just estimates.
Well, if it's a teaser website, it would take like, an hour, 2 hours to have it fully polished. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like the buttons don't need to connect.
Mhm,
You don't have to worry about all of the CMS stuff
mhm.
or CSS. But with Framer, it's like 4, 5, maybe even 6 hours to have it fully polished.
Okay. So for those of you watching this, or perhaps on a replay or a video, I recently held an AI website workshop where I told people, hey, you can make really fast websites with Webflow. And I recommend that you do a gift first outreach as a strategy if you're starting out, because you have time and it builds your portfolio anyways. And what you can do is you can use AI to generate a website very quickly. Now, what I didn't really understand about what you just said is that it takes 1 to 2 hours. In my demo, I showed that a website can be spun up in 10 minutes. So, what is going on between the 10 and the 120 minutes that you might spend? What are you trying to do in that gap that maybe I didn't mention that you feel is important?
Just, each section making it reflect the business that you're targeting and also the responsiveness. I say 1 to 2 hours because I'm still a beginner at
Okay.
Webflow. So for me to make everything responsive on iPad or
Mhm.
iPhone, it
Yep.
takes me that amount of time.
Forget about responsive, because this strategy is not about finishing the website. It's about two things, I would say. Number one, law of reciprocity. If I give you something and you didn't ask me, all I'm asking is for a call in return. That's all I'm asking for. I went ahead and did this. Would you at least speak with me? So there's no need for responsiveness for that exchange. What needs to happen is that I clearly did something that they aren't expecting someone to do for free. I need to break the pattern of what they typically see in their email. Subject line, I made you a new website. Doesn't say I finished it, doesn't say I implemented it, doesn't say I did mobile responsiveness. In fact, those are the perfect things to do once you get paid.
Yeah.
So, step one of this outreach strategy is, how do I create this effect? The second thing is, all I need to do is show a sense of proficiency that is above what they expect and already have. And for many, many companies, the AI's instant sight is good enough. So for everybody watching who's taken my workshop, Webflow workshop. And if you haven't, go to richniche.com and you'll find it under the workshops tab. You should take it. It's really one of the best courses out there right now. People love it. What I want you to solve is this. I want you to, in the morning, try to send 5 of these out. So you get about 30 minutes to pick your 5 companies, and you get 90 minutes to finish these and send it out. I think that if you send 5 of these a day, you will have higher than a 4% response rate. I think you'll get closer to 20%. And if you close 1 out of 5 deals, that means you need to send 25 of these a week for 1 deal a week. It might sound hard, but let's look at the alternatives. You have some alternatives. You could make content and try and attract people to you. You could do that. Not easy. You could run ads. That will cost you money, and you don't have a targeted niche. You don't have targeted messaging. You're really working in a broad sense. That's working against you. It doesn't remove you as the possibility. It's possible, but it costs money. You can do colder outreach with less reciprocity involved. Like I said, more mass, less personalized. The reason we do this AI website strategy is to personalize it. See, before what they would tell you is, oh, you're doing cold outreach. Here's how you personalize it. You write 1 line about a video they posted. I get it all the time. Oh, I love this video you made. I love the effort you're putting in. It's BS. Some people will go to your LinkedIn and see somehow someone is attached for your testimonial. It's, oh, congratulations on helping so-and-so achieve this goal. It's like 2 years ago. It's not relevant. It's just fake spam, fake personalization, not fake spam. It's real spam, fake personalization. So I guess what my point ultimately is what are the alternatives to doing gift first outreach that takes advantage of the law of reciprocity? What are the real alternatives, especially when you're brand new? Here's the thing. You have to make an internal decision about why you would do this every day for the next 3 months, even if it's not working right away. You have to make that decision for yourself. If I tell you it's a good idea, you might do it tomorrow and then quit the next day because somebody else on YouTube says, oh no, you should do this. You should do reels on Instagram. You should do this tripwire ad on Facebook ads. You hire us. We'll do 10 booked calls for you in 90 days or you don't pay. And they'll distract you for 3 months. Like, when we don't make internal decisions, we're being guided externally. And what does that mean? The next external thing to come along can also guide you. When you make decisions internally, the external doesn't have an effect on you. You already made a decision. It doesn't matter what other people say. Internal decisions are very important because you cannot be guided in the wrong direction by other people. Even if you're wrong, you take it. You take the risk and you get the reward. But by making an internal decision, you stick with it because it's your belief. And so what I'm doing is I'm trying to draw some logical conclusions for you so you can make the decision and say, yeah, that's very logical. He's right. First of all, I didn't do the right thing. Second of all, I'm not doing it enough. Third of all, I don't know what I'm doing. Fourth of all, I have options. Which is the best one? If you can answer those, you'll be on your way. Do you think you're the first person to have a business in this world? There's 400 million businesses. 400 million. Do you think they all have zero clients? No. Do you think they all have zero customers? No, they don't. They're doing it. They figured out their vehicle and their gas pedal. I think one of the challenges we all face is from decade to decade, the gas pedal can move. It can change. In the 70s, it was a radio ad. In the 90s, it was a TV or magazine ad. In the 2000s, it was Craigslist or Google ads. In 2010, it was social media. But in the 2020s, what is it? Because we live in a noisy, spammy world right now. Here's the good news, everyone. The OPMA model, or simply put, the subscription-based model, is not project-based. It says, hey, I want to work for you every month. And in exchange for you paying me every month, you get something extraordinary. You get a more skilled person for the dollars you spend. You get a variety of services because I'm extra skilled. You get to save more time because you don't have to manage multiple people, freelancers, or projects. And because we use a subscription model, we don't need a lot of sales. And when you choose a model like that, the need to sell often and always and a lot decreases. So as you're making this internal logical conclusion, you say to yourself, I only need to do this for a little while. Because once I get 5 to 10 first clients over the next 24 months, a couple things will happen. I'll have existing subscriptions. Some people will refer me. I will have the confidence and authority to make some content that will attract people. I will become more magnetic because of my results. Remind me what your takeaways are today.
Accountability, man. And just being honest with myself and what I need to do. Like, the biggest fight is just like internal, getting the ball rolling on the important tasks and prioritizing it during the better times of the day. I know I perform better in the morning than I do in the afternoon. And just making sure it's the right stuff, It's actually stimulating those conversations. That's my main takeaway.
Not bad. Here's how I would word it. I need to eat shit for 3 months. Every
Yeah.
day, I must do the number one most important thing for my business. What seems to be that thing is some sort of personalized outreach because I'm at square one. I need to go do something. I can't really expect people to come to me right now. Of the choices I have of what I can do, some sort of form of email-based outreach that is highly personalized is my best bet. What I need to solve is how can I reduce the time it takes to personalize and give a gift, because using a gift creates law of reciprocity effects. So what I'm going to do from February 2nd all the way to May 1st is every morning for 2 hours, I'm going to see how many businesses I can gift a website to. I can look at your assets, or I can not overcomplicate it for you. You can just leave it as is. There might not be anything truly wrong with it because we never had the fuel in the vehicle to see how far it can go.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe for another time.
In reality, I should set a rule that until you've done 30 days of outreach straight, I don't give a shit about your website or anything else, because that isn't the most important thing. And you're like tricking yourself that, oh, I've got a problem with my website, or my copy is off. Maybe, but it feeds the belief that is more important than adding the fuel. It says, oh, because my, car doesn't have a turbo engine or a spoiler or 19-inch mags, that's the reason I didn't drive anywhere. When in reality, you didn't even put a single ounce of gas in. And so I'm like, yeah, let me check out your spoiler, dude. Oh yeah, I'm gonna repaint this shit for you. You're gonna be fucking awesome. You lose every single race. You can't even drive a block. Does that make sense? Not really. So it's better that you put gas in a Toyota Corolla than you have a Supra with empty tank. There's people all around the world driving in their Corollas, loving life and making money. And I'm one of them.
That's facts. Thanks, Rich.
Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope it helps you take your career to the next level. Leave me a comment down below if you have any questions, and I'll be reading and answering them all. See you next.